Hello guys, it's Best to here again. Welcome to yet another video on System Engineering DevOps. Thank you all for your messages and your feedback, and I appreciate those that have subscribed to the channel. Alright, in this video I'll be looking at HTTP response code, how to carry out redirections, and also how to create your own custom error pages. And lastly, we'll be looking at how you can configure your web servers using Puppet. Now let's look at some basic definitions and illustrations so that we can lay a good foundation for the exercises. Now in simple terms, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So this is just the foundation of communication on the World Wide Web. So when you open a browser and you type in some or do some search on it, whatever you're doing is just you're just communicating with the web browser. And the protocol that allows you to do that is referred to as HTTP. So that would be Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Now that you've known what HTTP means, let's see what an HTTP status code means. So HTTP status codes are just three-digit numbers that the server sends back to the client. So when you open your browser to search in any page, the browser is expected to send back a response to you to indicate whether the outcome of that request you've made was a success or it was an error. Now, these status codes or the response that the server sends back to the client, they serve as a means of communication between the server and the internet browser. And there are multiple codes and they can be classified on the according to the type of information they are communicating. So how are the HTTP status code? How are they categorized? Um, HTTP status code are split into different classes or categories. So they are split into 5 categories. Basically, each category will give you a hint as to what the response was, even if you don't know the specific response code. So they are classified into 5 categories, and each category just gives you an idea of what the response was from the server. So even if you don't know the details of it, because remember we said um, the codes are the codes are three-digit numbers. So the first number just gives you an idea of the class or the category that the response belongs to. So this just helps you to get an idea of what's going on or a hint. Now, here's an illustration that can help you understand what I've said. So, imagine you as the web browser, or you can refer to you as the client. So, you are the client, and you go to a library. In this case, in this scenario, the library here is your web server. So, whatever means you use in communicating, you refer to that as your protocol. So, you can refer to that as your HTTP protocol. And when you ask for a book, in, we say you're carrying out a request. So when you open a browser and you type in google.com or whatever you want to feel like searching or surfing, you call that a request. So in this case, we'll refer to a book as a web page. So a book here just stands for a web page. And then the library shelves where those books are kept, we refer to them as storage. So if I'm giving you back any information, I call it response. So basically we focus on response or responses. So imagine you go to a library. So you here is the the client. You go to a library, we refer to that as a web server, and you want to request for a book, maybe a storybook to read. So the communication between you and the librarian, it's what we call those set of rules is what we call HTTP. Um, so when you make a request for a book, you're supposed to get a response in return. Now that response can be classified or categorized into 5 classes. We said the first class is informational or information. So when you request for a page, you open your browser to browse. Um, the first response you get is called information, and we said it just simply means that the process is still running. It's just a temporary response to signify that the process is still running. Now, the second class of response you can get is called success. So we said once your process has been received, understood, and processed, you can say that was like a response. Your response was successful. Sorry. So the third classes of response you can get is called redirection. So in case you are looking for a book and the book cannot be found in that particular library or the section where you want expect the book to be, we can refer to that as redirection. So you can get a response as please you can check in a different section of the library, or you can just visit another library to get the book, your desired book. The next set of response you can get can be client error response. So a client error here just means okay, maybe the book I requested for is not available at the moment, or I am prohibited from reading such books, or probably have not been authorized to read such books. So if my request is bad in terms of the syntax or spelling, you can get a client error. So this error just tells you that okay, maybe the browser or the web page you're looking for it's not available, or you are prohibited from going to such websites, or you don't have authority over such web pages. Now, lastly, the last set of response you can get when you try to access the internet or a web page is called a server error. So, server errors are similarly something like, okay, apologies, there was an issue at our end and we can't fulfill your request at the moment. So, maybe I'm trying to um, get a particular book from a section of the library, and that book, and they have issue trying to retrieve that book from that particular section. So you can refer to those errors from the servers as a server error. um, just similarly what happens in the library, and you can apologize and say okay, we can get you this book, we can get this book for you at this particular moment. Can you please try again later, or you can just visit another library. So these are like the five basic kind of response you can get from your web browsers. Now, specifically, we are going to look at such responses. The first, the first category of response you can get is called so it begins with one. Remember, they are three digits. So anything beginning from one just tells you that this is just an information. So you can have 100, you can have 101. So 100 just means that the process is still continuing. And when you're trying to switch protocols, yeah, you can describe that as 101. So when a request is processing, you refer to that as 102, and 103 means just early hints. The next category of response you can get from the browser is called two. So it begins with two, and anything from two just indicates that okay, this process is successful. And we have quite a variety of them ranging from 200 down to 226, and each of them just tells you a hint, gives you a hint of what's going on. Now let's try to look at an example of a 200 response. Now to see the status code of this page, all I have to do is just right click and scroll down to the option that says inspect. So I'll just go to the option that says inspect, and from there at my top I can see network, and I'll click on network, and you can see the response code here, just right here, that says 202. And remember, anything 2 just tells us that oh, that was successful. So 202 represents our request has been accepted, All right, let's move on to the next category of response you can get. The next category of response you can get are called redirections. So the status codes just begins with three and have several varieties of them from 300 ranging down to 308. So, but in this video, we'll be looking more specifically on permanent move permanently, which is 301. So in a very short moment, we'll just take some exercises on how to carry out a move permanently redirection. So you can have a variety of redirections. You can have temporary redirect, you can have permanent redirect, you can have use proxy. So these are just some varieties of redirections. So what's important here is that those codes begin with 300 with 3, sorry, and they can have different varieties. Now when the error is coming from you, refer to that as a client error, and this error just begins with 400 or with 4, and they have quite a number of varieties of them. And we said, so maybe you need to make a payment in a web page. You can, maybe you need to make payments before you can access a web page. You can refer to that as 402. And if you make a bad request, that can be seen as 400. So what if I'm trying to browse a page and that page has been loading for a long period of time? You can refer to that as 408, which means your request has reached its timeout. Now for this video, we'll be looking more specifically on not found. So maybe I'm trying to request for a page and the page my spelling is wrong or something like that, or the resource I'm trying to look for is not available. You get what we call a 404. So when I try to solve for a page that is not available, or maybe my syntax is wrong or my spelling is wrong, and yeah, just here's an example. Yeah, it says 404, this is not the web page you are looking for. So here is an example of a 404 error. So most people are conversant with these errors because you get to see them often. So this is just an example of a 404 error. That when I try to request for a page, the server sends me a response that, oh, this page you're trying to request for, we don't have it, or there's an error with my syntax, or so this just tells me that the error is from me. Now, because these errors are quite numerous, just drop a link to a cheat sheet where you can just get those codes and see what the error means. Now, the last set of error responses we are going to look at is called server error. So if the fault is not from the client or the individual trying to solve the net, the error can come from the server. So that error code just starts with 5, and the next two digits just interpret what it means specifically. So if you have an internal server error that's 500, and maybe a server that's not implementing, you can say 501, and you have quite a number of them. Okay, that will be all regarding HTTP response. Where in a moment we'll just be looking at some exercises that focuses on redirections and creating your own custom error pages. And at the end of the video, we'll look at how to carry out these instructions using, or how to configure these instructions using Puppet. Now in this exercise, we'll be looking at redirection, and I made a video on the first exercise, the second, and the third exercise. So if you've probably not done that task, you can just check on the playlist. You will see those videos that can help you, that can guide you on carrying out the project. So today we will be looking at redirection and how to carry out redirection. And the redirection we are going to be using today is called 301. The code is 301 and it's moved permanently. So we've been asked to configure our Nginx server so that redirect me, that's the name of the file, should redirect you to another page. Okay, and we'll be using the set command to do that. So let me just give you an illustration of how to use the set command. I have a file here called illustration, and this is the content of it. So assuming I want to insert some content into this file, that's when I will use the set command. So I'm going to specify maybe the particular word I want to start inserting the next set of words from. So if assuming I want to put some words after this um, statement gives back, and this is how I'm supposed to use this set command. So I want to put some extra information on this side that says gives back. So my set command is going to look like this. So I will just first of all start with a variable, and I can be like new string. So this is like the new string to impute, just a variable to hold the string. So I'll say new string equal to, then I'll put everything I want to do in quotations. So I can either use the line number or just the particular word I'm looking for. So I can do gives back, sorry, in capital. Now when I'm done with that, I just pause that for a moment, and then I'll now put a new line. So when you're writing a new line, it's like backward slash n, and then whatever extra information I want to put can be like so I can say 404, put a new line. When I'm done with that, just pause there, put a new line, backward slash n for new line. Whatever content I want to put, I can be like using set command. Then when I'm done with that, just put a new line, and any other extra information you want to add, you can add. So this is just the syntax for using the set command. This is how I'm supposed to insert this in the file. I'll say set minus I to impute, and I'm going to say, hey, I have some strings to impute, and I have to specify the string. So for this example, I said we're going to put the string here, gives back. So this is going to be gives back, and I end that. I just put a pause there, and then I have to specify the string I want to impute, the new strings. So I've created a variable for it, and I call it a new string, and this is going to contain all the content of this. So instead of writing all of this, I just call the variable I have assigned, and I'll just call that variable, and the name of that variable is called new string. And so this is the new string I want you to replace, and when you're done, I just end my quotations there. Then the last thing I need to write is to tell the computer the location of the file. So if the location is in the root, I just specify the root, and wherever that location is, just specify. So wherever the location is, and I can just say file. So this is how to use the set command. Okay, let's practicalize that now. So what this command will do is that it will come to this particular word in the file, which is this one. Then on a new line, backward slash n just tells the computer on a new line, put this 404. So it's going to search through this file and come to gives, and it's going to put 404 in a new line, go to the next line, and it will write this command using set command. So it will go to a new line, write set command, or rather using set command. Okay, and then go to a new line. So that's what this command will do. So it will search through the file and look for this keyword, go to the next line, which is a backward slash n, and put the next character, which is 404, go to the next line and write this using set command. So this is what this command is used for. You can use it to search through a file and replace whatever you want to replace. Now let's see how we can use that to carry out the exercises. So I'll just go into the right repository, go into the right directory, and I'll list my files. Now I have to go into my web server. So for those of you that want to see this, I'll just cut the content of my web server one. So this is what I wrote in my web server one. So this command just helps me to log into my web server successfully. So you can just create a file for it and make it executable. So to do that, I'll just do a dot forward slash and indicate the name of the file. So this is just my IP address to my web server one, and I'll log in into it, put in my passphrase, and in a moment I have successfully logged in into my server. I'll clear my screen. Now in my web server, I'm going to create a script that I can run to be able to execute a redirection for me. So what that script is going to do is just to configure my Nginx to be able to redirect a web page to a particular web page. So first and foremost, let's just create a file for it. I can just sudo vi use super privileges to create the file and call it redirections. Now I'm going to implement the said command that we just learned, and I will just create a variable to do that. Let me just put a comment to this and be like, okay, I'm using said command, sorry, to perform redirection. Yeah, this is just by the way. Okay, so I'll say let me just create a variable to hold my string. So I can just say string for replacement. So this is just a variable name. It can be anything you want to use. So this string is going to be used for replacement, and we've seen that you can just use the equal sign, and everything you want to be used to replace can come in quotations. So what we're going to do is we're going to locate for the word called server underscore name. I'll give a space, another underscore, and that's the word we're going to look for. So this file is going to search for this word server name in our configuration file, and after it has searched for it, it will go to a new line, and when it's on a new line we want to put a tab there. So we'll say a /t for tab to create a tab, and it's going to write the command to carry out redirections, and we say we need to rewrite so we said rewrite everything that has to do with redirection, rewrite it. And because we are writing a script, when you want to write some special characters, you need to put a // so that those characters can be effective. So if I want to write a // this is not going to work until I escape it using a /. So I'll use a // and a / just to escape, just so that the / can be printed. Then the next thing I need to write is redirect, and that's the name of the file, redirect me. So I'll now put in the desired URL that I want anybody accessing that page to be redirected to. So assuming I want to browse AliExpress, but AliExpress has moved to another new website. So this is how you do that. So you just write, so anybody trying to surf AliExpress will be redirected to the new address of AliExpress. So this is what you do. You just write in the desired URL or the website that you want your clients to be redirected to. So in this case, I'm going to use https column. Because I want to write a // I have to put a // to be able to do that. I want to write another // I have to put a // to allow me to do that. So if I want to redirect everybody trying to access my web server to my GitHub page, I can just do github.com. Because I want to write the // I put the // to be able to write that, and I can just say the name of my GitHub page. And then because this is supposed to be a permanent redirection, I can just write permanent. And I'm going to end that line and then end my quotation, close my quotations. Okay. So how do I insert this new strings that I have written? You do that by just write using you can use sudo set insert this string into this file, sorry, minus I. So this flag will insert it, and then we've seen in our previous illustration that we can put the string and tell the computer this is the string I want. After the string, just replace everything I have in this file. So the name of that string should be server underscore name. There's a space and there's another underscore. I end that line because I want to. Now the next thing is to indicate the variable I've used in saving those strings. And I said the variable I used was string for replacement right here. So I'll just call that string for replacement again. So I'll just say string for replacement. Okay. And then the next thing, I'll just my quotations end my quotations down. The last thing I need to write is the name of the file I want this to be implemented, and I see the location of the file or the path to that file is in the etc. I think Nginx, yes, and then site enabled. So this is going to be implemented in the site enabled and in a file called default. In a moment, I'll just show you that before we implement it. Okay. Now this is all right. I'll just save the file and make it executable. So you see right here, I have the file that contains the strings I want to replace. So I'll just use super privileges to change the mode of that file. And I want to allow everybody to be able to execute this file, and I'll write the name of the file. And at ls, I discovered that my file is now executable. Now, just to show you what this file is going to make, is going to do, I'll just go into the etc directory, going under Nginx, and just check on site enabled and just see what the file is before we make changes to it. So when you come to this part, you list the files, you discover that you have a default folder containing the configurations for site enabled, and I'll open that using sudo vi vim and default. Now because we are going to be making changes to this file, it's advisable, or I recommend that you get the content of the file and save it somewhere, so that in case you have issues with that file, you can just copy it back and paste. So I'll just get the content of all this file and save it somewhere. So you can see right here that I have like a copy or a backup of my site enabled for Nginx. I have a backup for it, so that in case I make some configurations that are not right and my Nginx is not working, I can just come back and retrieve the default folder or the default file and just paste them back. So just get the configurations for your site enable and keep it safe somewhere. So this is just the content of the file. All right, let's go back to the exercise. So if you take a look at my site enabled configuration file, you discover that I have a section for the server and I have a section for the server name. All right, so what we are trying to implement is that our script is going to look into this file and search for this particular place, and after it is going to implement the command to carry out redirections. Okay, this is just before we implement the script. Now let's exit and go back to the file we wrote and execute it. So I'll just ls and you discover that I have my redirections, I'll just run that script or that file, and it's going to implement that for me. So just to have a visual um of what we've done, just to have a visual of what we've done, I'll go back into the etc and Nginx and sites enabled here. Now our ls and just sudo vim again, sudo vim default, and see if what we've done has been implemented. All right, if you look closely, you will see that yeah, our script ran successfully. It came and searched for this keyword, and after it, it began to write the command to redirect a URL page. So if I have a website that I no longer use and someone is trying to access it, so when you type in that URL, because I've written a route for redirections, it's going to take you to my new website or probably any site I've decided to impute. So whatever URL you input here, that's where it's going to take the client to. All right, let's just save that and exit. Now it's good practice when you carry out some some activities in your configurations file. It's always good to test to see if those um, configurations were carried out properly. So we are going to say sudo nginx minus t to test our configuration, and you can see right here that my configuration test is successful. Just to double check, I'll just run the command again, and it says my test is successful. So if your text is not successful, I think this is because of syntax error. Maybe you omitted a comma or a column or something. So just try and test your script before you restart your Nginx. So I'll just clear my screen, and now I can do sudo service Nginx restart. Okay, I'll restart it. Yeah, just to double check, I'll restart again. Now the next thing I need to do is to create a file and put that URL in it. So I'm going to create a file called redirect me and put the desired URL I want my clients to be redirected to. So to do that, I'll just go back. So because I don't want to go into the, what's it called? Well, let me just go into the directory that serves web pages, which is the var directory, and there's the www and then HTML pages. I'll list my files here. So I have just the index.html that I use in doing hello world. Now I'm going to create a file that will contain the redirect me URL. So I'm just going to say sudo vi redirect underscore me. Okay, and then I'll put in the desired URL I want my clients to be redirected to, and that is supposed to be HTTP. So just insert, for me it's HTTPS github.com/bestor. Okay, this is where I want my redirection to be, my clients to be redirected to. Okay, I'll just save that, and yeah, just to double check, I'll just check if that was correct. Sudo nginx minus t. Yeah, everything is successful, and I'll just restart my Nginx again. Sudo service Nginx restart. Yeah, so whenever you make changes to your files, you need to like restart your service so that it can implement those changes. So I'll say sudo service Nginx restart, and just do that again so that everything works fine. All right. Now I am done with my web server. Let's see if my redirections will work. Yeah, I'll just open my web browser and just type in my IP address. So my IP address should be 34. Yeah, I think this. And then I put a forward slash and just write redirect me. That's the name of the file. So just write your IP address. Just put redirect me and let's see if that will work. Okay, successful. That was successful. So you can see right here that my Nginx has been able to carry out the redirection that I've given to it. Sorry. So whatever URL you put in your redirect me, it's going to take your clients there. So that was successful. Now, next thing we are going to do is to write a script to implement all the actions we've taken. So let's create a script for that. Let me exit my web server. So I'll just write logout and it locks me out of my web server. Now I am in my sandbox again in the repository called system engineering and web server. I'll just clear my screen and so I'll clear my screen to implement what we did using our browser. When you are in a terminal like this, the command to maybe surf the internet is called call. So you say call, we want to do this silently and we don't want all of the information to be displayed. So we do it silently and we put in our IP address. So my IP address should be 34 dot 201 dot 68 dot 164. So this is just my IP address. You can test it using yours. And when you write redirect me, because that's the name of the file, and say please redirect underscore me, and it gives you this. So you can see that we've successfully carried out the exercise we were given. You can see right here it says http 301 move permanently. So the objective of the task is just to be able to carry out redirections, and we were able to do that. And then the location of the redirection was this. So you can use whatever location you want. The goal of this exercise is just to be able to carry out 301 permanently moved. Okay, let's go on and write a script for that. Let's get the name of the file. Now let's create the file. I think it's vim. The name of the file is this. So our first line of script is going to call in the interpreter to interpret this script, and we said the interpreter to do that is it's found in the user directory in a location called the bin, and we'll use this environment to get the bash interpreter to run the script for us. Now, because we are discussing about redirections, I'm going to just put a comment and say okay, performing a 301 move permanently. All right, so we said so in our script we'll just repeat everything we did on task 1 and 2. On task 1 we were able to install Nginx, and we said as a good practice, when you want to make installations, you first of all update your packages. So we say update. Okay, the next thing we said we should do is how do you install Nginx? We say sudo apt get install, and we say -y because whenever it prompts us whether we want to continue, this is going to automatically tell it to continue. Sorry. So we said Nginx, and the next thing we did was to echo hello world to the index.html, and we said we did that using echo, and we said the string was hello world, and there was an exclamation, and we said we piped this into and we said we use sudo t so that we can be able to create a script in that directory, and that directory was in var in www, and HTML to save HTML files, and the name of that file was index.html. Okay, now performing these instructions we were asked to carry out, we used the variable called string for replacement. We said this is how it is used. You put your quotations and you tell the computer where to start searching from. So we say start searching from the server called name. There's a space and an underscore. When you're done with that, you can put in a new line with the backward slash n, put in a tab to start um, writing on that line. And we said, what do you want us to write there? We say rewrite. So we said rewrite, and everything that has to do with redirections, we write it. And because we want to put a forward slash, we escape that using a backward slash, and then we can be able to write our forward slash, and we say redirect. The name of the file is redirect me, and the name of your URL, I think it was HTTPS. So whatever your URL is, just put it there. HTTPS, because we want to write a forward slash, put a backward slash to escape that, another forward slash, backward slash to escape that, and the URL is github.com, because I want to write forward slash, backward slash, and restore. So this just takes you to the URL, and because we said this is like a 301, you can either write 301 or you can do permanent. Okay, we're done with that. Now let's end our string. Now how do we insert this into the file? You use sudo privileges to insert that into the script, and we said, where do we start inserting from? We'll start from where we can find our server name. So it's going to be server underscore name space underscore. Yeah, that's where you search for, and what's the variable we have used to hold the string, and we say that variable is called string for replacement. String for replacement. Okay, and what else? Okay, we said the last thing you need to write is the name of the file. Show us the path to that file, and we said the path to that file was in the etc, and it was in Nginx, and it was in site enabled. All right, so we are done with the script enabled. Yeah, so just be careful with your script so that you don't get errors. And then the name of that file was default, if you could remember. Alright, if I'm too fast for you, that's why it's a video. You can always pause it and rewatch. So the last thing we did was to restart our configuration or restart the Nginx. So we said sudo service Nginx restart. Okay, I hope everything was spelled correctly. Alright, let's save and exit. And now, because if you're not sure if your script is correct, you can check the syntax of your script. But first of all, you need to install a shell check. So let's see sudo apt get install shell check. Okay, this just installed shell check for you to be able to check if your script is correct. So I'll just go ahead with the installations, so that whenever my script is not correct, I'll be able to debug it. Alright, so I'm done with that installation. If I want to check if my script is correct, I'll just do shell check and then the name of the script, and everything is correct. So most times if your script is not correct, it comes in different colors like white, yellow, or red. So just be careful with the red ones. So you can ignore the yellow ones, but the red ones are what is giving you the error. All right, so let me just make my script executable. So I'll do yeah, just change the mode of my script so that everybody can be able to execute this script. And the name of the script is three redirections. Ls, I discover my script is executable. Yeah, so let me just clear my screen to make things simple. Next thing I need to do is to git add, git commit, and git push. So I'll just use git add, the name of the file, and I'll use a logical operator to do that because I don't like doing it one after the other. So I'll just run the three commands: git add, git commit, and git push all at the same time. So git add that, git commit, and my git commit message is what's wrong. So what's wrong, and I'm going to put another logical operator. When that is done, I can now git push. Now I don't want to every content to be seen. I'll just put a redirection to a trash can dev. No, so I'll just create a trash can for it so that the output goes into it, and whatever error I have to redirect it into back. I'll redirect it back into the trash can. All right, so this command just do that for me. Okay, when I run it, I've successfully. All right, let's check if what we've done is correct. Okay, that's correct. All right, let's move on to the next exercise. Now, in this exercise, we are going to implement the error page, and instead of the 404 file not found, this is going to be a custom error page. So this is the content of the error page. I believe this is French, means page not found. All right. Next thing we need to do is to go into our web server. So I'll just go back into my web server and make some configurations, make some changes to the configuration. So to log into my web server, I'll just run my web one, and enter my password. I'm now in my web server. Clear my screen. So because I've shown you what the set command does, so we're just going to create another script that can hold that commands we need to make changes with. And now let's do sudo vi. Because this is like a custom error page, I can just say error page, just any name would do, error page, and I'll call it string for replacement. Yeah, whatever variable you decide to use is fine as long as you understand the syntax. And this is going to be equal to then whatever string I want to insert comes in here. So I'm saying that I'm going to look for the line called listen 80. Yeah, I'll show you that listen 80 default. So it's going to look for this line called listen 80 default server, and it's going to go to the next line, which is a /n. Then on that line, use a tab /t, and it's going to write page error page, and give a space and write 404. Give another space because I want to write a /. I need a / to help me do that. And the name of my file is called 404 .html. html. Okay. All right. And because I want to write another line, I'll just do a /n for a new line. When I go to that new line, put a tab. When I put a tab, I can write this location and specify the location. And because I want to use a /, I'll put a /. And the name of that file where it's located, it's called the 404.html again. And where is this located more specifically? I can say this is put a new line and put a new tab, then put another tab again. Yeah, I'm going to experiment that, and then specify that this is going to be in the root and the directory where that is, because I want to write the forward slash. I need the backward slash to help me do that, and I'll specify the root or the path to that file. And we said the path is in the var and www and the html directory, and in it I want to say okay, create another new line backward slash n and put another tab to that because I want everything to appear clean. I'll put a tab to that and I say this can be found internally or just internal. Then I'll end that line and go to the next line with the backward slash n and put another tab to that. Okay. And when I put a tab to that, I'm going to close my block of directives and I'll end my string. All right. So the next thing I need to do is to specify the string for the replacement. And I said to do that was to use the sudo set command to insert into a file. And we said the syntax is the string. What line am I going to use? I said use search for this line called listen 80 default. Yeah, default server. So I'm going to use search for this word called listen default server, and that's where I will start writing my string from. So the string to write, I used a variable, and the name of that variable is string underscore for underscore replacement. Okay, and then I end my quotations. Now the last thing I need to specify in the syntax when you're using set, we said the last thing is supposed to be the name, the location of the file you want to make changes to. Okay, we said the location is etc nginx nginx, and it was in sites enabled. Okay, and the name of that file was default. Okay, so we have successfully written our script, and the next thing we are going to do is to execute the script so that it can be able to perform these actions we've asked it to perform. So the essence of explaining this is not just to give you answers. That's not my aim. My aim is to be able to explain everything I'm doing so that it gives you a clearer understanding of what's being required of you, and so that you can be able to practically do these things yourself so that you can achieve anything you want to achieve. All right, I've used a variable. It's not necessary you use the same variable with me, but you can create your own variables, and as long as the syntax for using the set command is correct, everything should work fine. Now be careful with your spacing and your quotations and everything else that makes the file important. All right, let's save this. And when I ls discover that I have two files, I'll try to make that an executable script by doing sudo change the mode so that everybody else can execute this script called error page. Alright, when I ls I discover my script is executable, but before we put this into actions, let's just have a visual of what this is going to do. So I'll just cd into etc nginx and go into the sites enabled and list the files there. So I'll do sudo vi to be able to see the file. So what I wrote is that my script is supposed to come into this file and search for this line that says listen to 80 default server, and from there it can begin to implement whatever I've asked it to implement. Alright, I'll just save and exit. Now remember I said it's always advisable to get a backup for your script so that in case your configuration file is not passing or working properly, you can always delete the file and insert the new default file. All right, so let's save that. We'll go back to where we wrote our script, and ls you discover is there. Run the script, and it will implement whatever we've asked it to implement. So once again, I'll go back into, yeah, I'm taking the stress to do all of this so that you get the understanding of what the project requirements are. Okay, so I'll go back into site enabled, right? Okay, then I can ls and sudo vi default, and you can see that whatever we've written in our script has been implemented. So this is how you carry out error this is how you print out your error custom pages. So the keyword there is just error page, and the error is the 404 error. Remember, it's a 404 error. And where is this file located? We said it's the name of the file is 404 html. So you can name your file whatever you want to name it, as long as the syntax is correct. All right, now I'll just save this script. Now I will log out of my web server, so I'll just do log out. Oh, sorry, bad practice. Yeah, I'm supposed to test my script, whether my configuration file, whether it was successful. So I'll do sudo nginx -t. So always test your script whether they were successful, because they may lead to errors. All right, yeah, most common errors I've seen is because maybe your punctuations are not correct, or you omitted a column or a semicolon or those kind of things. All right, so my test was successful. I'll run it again to be sure. Yeah, everything works fine. Just clear my screen, and the next thing I need to do is to create a file that has that content I want to be displayed. And I'll just go back and cd into the var directory. In the World Wide Web, there's HTML there. ls, I discovered that there's index, and there's redirect me. Now I need a 404.html, so I'll just do sudo vi 404. Yeah, that's the name I want to use. html, what's wrong? html. Okay, now just get the content of that file. Yeah, I advise you just copy it from the tags because of spelling issues. So I just insert that into it, and that's what I want to be printed as my 404 page. So instead of saying 404 page not found, yeah, this is the instruction for the tags. I think this is French, it means this is not a page. So those of you that can pronounce that, congratulations to you. All right, we save that file, and the next thing we do, we test our configuration. Yeah, this is not necessary, but it's not wrong to be right. Okay, sorry, I think it's sudo nginx -t. Yeah, everything works fine. When you make changes to a configuration file, you need to restart or reload that configuration file. We say sudo service nginx minus no sorry restart. Now I'm doing -t. Okay, sudo service nginx restart, and run that again to be sure. All right, so we exit, or we log out, and we are now back to our web server. Now let's practicalize what we've done so that you'll be convinced that what you're doing, it's not magic. Okay, so we'll get a web page. So open a web browser and type in your IP address. My IP address is 34. So just type in your IP address 34 slash and write any page of your choice. because this page is not so you just write any page of your choice. I choose to go with that. So before making those configurations, this is what you will see as the normal or the default Nginx 404 page. It's saying 404 not found. But after making those configurations and I rerun my, just write my IP address and anything I want to type, and you see that now it has changed to this French word saying page is not found. So you've successfully carried out a 404 custom page. So whatever, maybe probably whatever you want to write as your custom page, you can write in there. You just know the steps. But because this is like a project, an exercise for you to do, so everybody has to write this. All right, let's get back into creating a script that has all the steps that we've carried out. Now I'll just create a script for it. The script is 404 not found, because I don't have to be writing everything we've written before because they are almost similar, just different, just some little additions to it. I'll just go back and copy. Let me clear my screen. So I'll just go back. When I ls, I discover that I have, so this redirection file has everything I want except the new addition of the, what's it called, the error page. So I'll just copy the content of it into my new file. So I'll just do cp-r, copy recursively. What file do I want to copy? I want to copy this file into this other file, and when I veer into the four not found page, I discover that I have the content of my um 3 redirections. So what I need to do is just to change the comment, because this is no longer performing a 301 move. This is just customizing 404 error page. Okay, so I'll just do cause. Is that correct? Whatever it is just a comment, correct or not. Customizing a 404 page, just a comment, so ignore my spellings. Alright, since these are the instructions I've carried out before, I need to put in some new instructions. So I'll just go to a new line and just write so I'll just go to a new line and say okay, creating just a comment to show what I'm doing, creating a 404 error page. Okay, and we said we use the set command, and the set command, we said the string for replacement no. Initially we said okay, we did echo, so we said we can echo and then the name of the content we want in our script. This is the content we want in our script, and we want you to echo this into a file. But first let's put a pipe, and sorry, we put a pipe to that, and we say use super privileges to output that after creating it. And we said create it in this directory called var and www, and the directory was html. All right, and the name of the file we want to create is 404.html. Okay, now how did we impute this into the configuration file? We said we use a string for replacement as our variable name, and we said the syntax is you put the string the variable name, and then what words to look for. We say you should listen 80 default server, something like that. Okay, default underscore server, and when you're done with that, you pause, put a new line, backward slash n. When you do that, you just put because we want to put the tab, we put backward slash t, and the name of that page is called error underscore page, and the name of the error page we're trying to print is a 404 error. And we said because we want to write the forward slash, use the backward slash. Sorry, we use the backward slash and the forward slash to print the forward slash. And that name of that file is 404.html. And we said let's put a pause there, go to a new line again, put a tab again, and write the location of that file. And we specify that location, and we said okay, this is supposed to be in the 404 because we want to write the backward slash. Want to write forward slash, put the backward slash, and we said the name of the file is 404.html. Always getting HTML wrong. HTML. Okay, pause that, and yeah, sorry. So we said we'll put our block of code there, and go to a new line, put a new tab, and specify that it's going to be in the root, and the name of that directory, because we want to write forward slash, put the backward slash. The name of that directory is html var, sorry, var and www and html. And we say that this is supposed to pause here, and then it's going to go to a new line and new tab, and another new tab, and we say internal. Yeah, internal. And we said that this is all it's going to do, and then just go to a new line and put another tab, and then end the block of code. So this is going to end the block of code that we started, and then we end our string to end the format for using the sed command. Alright, just go to another line. And how do we insert this into our file? We say we can do that using sudo sed the new string to insert, which is I, and this is the syntax. You just specify the string, and what string am I looking for? We say you should listen 80 default. So look for anything that says 80 default server. When you've seen it, that is where you start inserting from. What am I going to insert? Okay, use this variable called string for replacement. Okay, and then the next thing I'm supposed to specify is the name of the file. You want me to insert some things into a file, so tell me, where's this file located? Okay, this file is hiding under the etc, yeah, etc Nginx, and then go to the site enabled, and you can use the file called default. So this is the file we want to make changes to. And lastly, we said when you're done with that, you need to like restart your Nginx. So this is going to restart Nginx. Yeah, restart Nginx after implementing changes. Okay, just a comment, not necessary, but this is just to make things understandable. Okay, so successfully written all the instructions or the command we carried out into a script, and just make sure that your spacing and your syntax is correct. Okay, so let's save this and make our script executable. Okay, so yeah, it's always advisable to just create your own comments. Yeah, the command is the same except you want to use a different method, so just understand what you're doing. It helps you that way, yeah, instead of just copying and pasting. Okay, so we have our file, and we need to change the mode to make everybody to be able to execute this file. The name of the file is 404, and I'll just use a very fast way to git add, git commit, and git push. And I say git add the name of the file, put a logical operator to that. When you're done with that, git commit it, git commit -m. So I can just say error page, so whatever you want. So when you're done with that, I put another pipe and say when you're done, just git push. And because I don't want this content to be everywhere, I'll just redirect it to a trash can called dev.no. So whatever output is going to display should be kept in this trash can, and whatever error message is going to come out, please take it back to the trash can. Okay, this is just what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I'm just trying to just make things simple or difficult. If this looks difficult, sorry. All right, so I'll just git commit, git add, and git push. Okay, I've successfully done that with one command. Now I need to check my code if what I've done is correct. Now before I do that, let me just be sure that I wrote the right thing. So I'll just do shell check, then the name of the file, and see if that is correct. Okay, didn't return any errors. All right, I can now go and check my code. Okay, everything looks fine there. All right, on to the next task. Now this exercise, the essence of this exercise is to be able to use Puppet to automate your work. So instead of all the stress of going into each configuration file, making some changes, go to the next one. So assuming you have like 50 configurations to carry out, is that how you're going to be going into each file and just hand coding everything? So that's where Puppet comes in. It helps you to automate your work and just saves you time and effort. So this task is just going to save us time and effort. So Puppet is just a tool you can use in configuration management to automate all those kind of processes that involves repetition. So yeah, I'll likely do a video on how to use Puppet, but for the sake of this exercise, we'll just use a few basic commands to do that. Yeah, it's quite easy, so I'll just explain that to you as we look at the exercise. So we're supposed to use Puppet to configure everything we've done from um, the exercises, from configuring it to request hello world and move permanently. We are going to do that using Puppet. All right, let's create a script for that and see how we can get that done. So I'll just clear my screen and yeah, I'll just make the file. So if you're writing a Puppet, you say you're writing a Puppet manifest. So this is going to be a manifest. Just a comment, say installing Nginx and carrying out error page. Okay, just whatever. So I'll just say automating um my work using Puppet. Okay, yeah, just a comment to tell me what I'm doing. So I said, hello Puppet, I want you to install some packages for me. So Puppet would be like, okay, package. Yeah, what package do you want me to install for you? Hey, I want you to install Nginx for me. Okay, yeah, single quotation. Okay, when I'm done with that directive, now I have to tell Puppet, please ensure that so I noticed that instead of using the tab key, you can actually use two spaces, 1 2, and I'll say please ensure that this Nginx is installed. Okay, so I'm giving a directive. I say please, I want to install Nginx and kindly ensure that this package is installed. Okay, so when you're done with that, just put that and go to and end your block of code. So that just explains it. Puppet, please install Nginx for me, and please make sure that Nginx is installed. Sorry. So I'll go to the next line, say instructions to install. Yeah, I'm trying to be careful with my spellings. Okay, single quotation. Why is it not showing? Okay, install, install. All right, then your column or semicolon, which one is that? That's like a semicolon, right? Okay, then please two spaces, 1 2, and I said please ensure. So if you notice, we're always saying package, ensure, package this, package that. Ensure, yeah, what am I trying to ensure? Ensure uh, that this is present. Kindly ensure this is present. Yeah, what should be present? I have to tell Puppet what should be present. Okay, two spaces, 1 2, and I said show me the path to what you want me to ensure that is present. Okay, I'll say this is the part I want you to ensure, and I'll say okay, the path is in the etc directory, but before I write that, I just put a single quotation to put everything in check. Okay, etc, I think etc was Nginx, and that was in the sites enabled, and the name of that file was called default. All right, and then I can end that directive by using a comma. All right, and I said okay, after doing that, after ensuring that the path is present, what do I do? So I'll just say Puppet, please, after that you have to go to the line called listen 8080. Remember we used 8080, so we said listen to listen 80 default server. Yeah, that was the line we went to, default underscore server, and we end that comment there, and we end that yeah, this is because this default server was having the end single quotation, and I end it with my comma. All right, so when you go there in a new line, so I'll say 1 2 line, in a new line go to, sorry, 1 2, go to and write this, go to a new line and write this. Okay, so what am I writing? I just put that in single quotations so that everything is being heard in one place. So I'll say rewrite everything that has to do with redirections. So all types of redirections, please rewrite them. And I say the name of the file is called redirect me underscore me, and the link to redirection, my new link is https used to be, and either I will do www.github.com, and my name is Pesto. So I want my clients to be redirected to this page whenever they try to visit any page that is not available. Okay, so this is going to be a permanent redirection. All right, and I'll, yeah, just put a comma to that, and just put end my quote and end the Puppet command. Okay, yeah, it's so funny how I can't remember what this is called, but yeah, it happens to the best of us. Okay, now the next thing I need to do is to say file. So I'll say file, and the name of the file I want to go to this time around is in the var directory where web pages are being served, and I say I want to go to this file, and the name in that directory I want to go to the www directory where html files html are being saved, and the name of that file I'm going to create is called index.html. Okay, now I'm done with that. I'll just put a single quotation to end that, and I'll just use the column because I have other directives to give, and I say the spacing is 1 2. Okay, all right. The content, what do you want? The content that I want to create in this file should be hello world, right? So the content should be hello world. There's a capital H, hello world, and exclamation. Yeah, I'm done with that. Just and yeah, these are some of the mistakes I'm trying to avoid. Spelling wrong. Okay, corrected that. Hello world, and that's the end of that line. I'll go and end my block of code, and I'll go to a new line and ensure that the service is running. What service? The service there is Nginx. Remember Nginx, and I say this service is being provided by Nginx. Okay, what do you want me to do with it? Yeah, because I have other instructions to give, I'll just put a column there or a semicolon, whichever is correct. And the spacing is 2 spaces 1 2, and I say ensure that the service is running. So what service should be running? Nginx should be running, and I'll specify that it should be running. Okay, so you can see that Nginx is running. What if Nginx is running? Okay, what do you want me to do? So I should require that the package should be Nginx. Alright, that should end it, I think. Require that Nginx should be present. Yeah, I'll just go back here and put more spaces to it so that everything looks uniform. Alright, so as a require package, the package should be Nginx. Okay, Nginx. Yeah, I'll just create a video on Puppet so that everything makes sense to you, but it's just simple commands and instructions for you to configure multiple carry out multiple configurations that saves time and makes things uniform. So instead of carrying out these configurations manually, you just write a script and execute them in all your servers, and they will perform whatever instructions you've asked them to perform. Alright, this is our script that carry out all the instructions we have been given to carry out. Okay, so I'll just go right there and just save my file, my manifest, sorry. So I'll save my Puppet manifest WQ, and because this is not a script, well, you can just make it executable. There's no harm in doing that. So chmod plus x, name of the file, and ls. Then I can just git add 7, the name of the file, and just use a logical operator. After that, just git commit. My commit message is configuration with Nginx. Okay, just a commit message, and when I'm done with that, I can just git push. And because I don't want this to, I want this whatever it is to be put into a trash can, and the name of the trash can dev. So whatever the output is, just put it into a trash can. Not interested. Alright, even if there's an error, yeah, do the same thing to it. put the errors back into the trash can. One, I think. Okay, so I've successfully committed, added, and pushed my file just to check my script if it's correct. Just be careful with your script, and you should be fine too. So just ensure that your Puppet manifest is properly written, yeah, with so many quotations and the rest, and spacing. Okay, if you've encountered any error or if you successfully carried out this project following my guide, you can just encourage others by leaving a comment on the comment section. And also, I'll be doing a video on load balancing and firewall and so many other videos coming up. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, you're going to miss out on a lot. So just keep your subscription on and turn on your notifications so that you get notified when I post another video. Until next time, goodbye and good luck with your projects.